Hey y'all, welcome back to Bestie Banter. I'm Bree.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're going to be talking about three different things. First, we're going to be talking about dating and relationship dynamics in the digital age.
And we're going to be talking about body image, beauty standards, and self-perception.
And then we're going to finish it off with social media and mental health. Ooh, very interesting.
All right, let's just get right into it. Let's just get into it. We got this. Okay.
So we're going to start off talking about how technology, dating apps, and social media influence modern relationship topics, including the impact of online dating on mate selection, so like who you're dating, and the role of social media and relationship maintenance, and the psychological dynamics of navigating a complex digital dating landscape. So let's just kind of talk about like our personal experience, I think. Like, I know in our age, Gen Z,
dating apps.
Yes.
Tinder,
Ooh.
Bumble, Hinge.
We've both had experiences with that. It definitely kind of affects like our interpersonal attraction with I feel
like once you get on a dating app, you are more focused on how a person looks versus a lot of things. So a lot of apps, you just see their face first, and then you swipe left or right.
Yeah.
And then if you swipe right, it's because they're cute, or you find them attractive, and then you have a conversation, and then you either find out the personality is bad, or that they have a great personality, but it's probably the lesser of the attractives who have the less person.
Definitely. I also think that it's a lot easier for people to fake who they actually are online dating apps.
Yeah.
It's easier for people to like manipulate you and kind of paint this perfect picture of who they want to be perceived
Give
as.
you like a little bait.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this is...
It's like clickbait, but in relationships.
But like on dating apps.
Yeah.
It's like a little show, and then it gets deeper into it when you like know them, meet them, hang out with them, and then it's like, okay, well, you're nothing like how you were when we matched.
Yeah, or even like talking about like sliding into the DMs. Like, you kind of get that initial like first impression of someone based off of their like Instagram profile.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's all based on looks.
Which is all fake. Like, everyone kind of knows that social media is...
fake.
Yeah, it's fake. It's kind of this art that people put on to try and make themselves look better, funner, smarter.
Like edit it.
Yeah, they're more successful. They're more beautiful. Like,
they travel places, take pictures when they're on a trip, and then repost them later. Like,
which leads you to self-perception and beauty standards. Kind of digging into that. How it makes you feel about yourself. Like, oh, I see these people, they're starting families, they're getting married. I mean, we're at that age where, like, people we went to high school with, people we were friends with are
popping babies out, having engagement videos.
Getting married, buying houses? Like, how are you buying a house?
Who bought a house?
Cora and her boyfriend. They bought a house.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did, yeah.
News to me.
Yeah, crazy, though. I mean... But it's just those type of situations where you compare yourself to the people online and how it, deals with, like... Or even, speaking of Cora, she lost a bunch of weight. She got super fit, She looks amazing now. And then you sit and kind of compare yourself to these people online. Or, I think a classic example, the Kardashians. Like, how people compare themselves to them. I know you don't experience that as much, but...
Well, I also am very fond of the fact that Instagram and reality are two different things.
Really?
Depending on... Well, it's like... Are you going to post a picture where you look bad in?
No.
Exactly. And if you had a team of professionals who got you ready every day and could edit your photos and make you look perfect, you would do the same thing.
See, but I think that creates, like... a level of self-complexity that, views how people think about themselves, like, based off of what they think is normal, especially kids who are really growing up in the thick of it. Like, we remember when Instagram first came out, and that was whenever we were in, like, middle school.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of time to kind of form our own perception of ourselves, but growing up in the era of, like, Photoshop and Facetune and BBLs and...
I think that comes into play with, like, parents teaching their children that, everyone is beautiful. And just because, here's how I see it. Just because, like, Kendall Kardashian is gorgeous. Obviously, she's a runway model. Same thing. Whatever. She's gorgeous, runway model, perfect body, whatever. But just because I can look at her and be like, oh my god, I wish I had her body, doesn't mean that she doesn't get the right to post it and to like be proud of her body too.
No, definitely, and I agree with that, but I don't think it goes without still having an effect on people. You know what I mean? Like, it still can create insecurity in people and, you know, self-comparison and how they view themselves because it's all over their timeline and their feed.
Yeah.
You know, how...
I mean, I get it. I understand it. I just... When I'm scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on apps or whatever, you just have to keep in mind that not everything you see is real, and also not everyone is made the exact same. My body type is different from Kendall's. If I got down to the same measurements as Kendall's, I'd look 10 times different than her. Like, it would not be the same exact body type.
Right.
And I think that comes into play with, like, parents and older siblings and everyone teaching their children responsibilities online, because if you give your child a phone when they're, what, like 10?
Yeah.
And they get an Instagram and they are like, oh, well, now I feel fat because so-and-so is posting like this. It's like, okay, well, you know, you got let onto a world that you shouldn't be on in the first place, and on top of that, you have no knowledge about what actually happens online, which is the editing and the fakeness and the face app and people putting makeup on and stuff. It's like, Instagram is not real.
Yeah, but I
think TikTok
is
not real.
I think it still creates, like, an unrealistic beauty standard just all around, like...
I think the media itself does. I don't think a specific person does that. I think people go on trends. It was super, super trendy back in the early 2000s to be really skinny and really trendy for that low-rise jeans, super skinny. And then it got into like the muscle body where everyone wanted to be like, you know, toned up, had muscle features. And then it got into the BBL body where it was like slim, thick, you know, skinny's out, muscles are out. It's all about the fat in the right places, which causes people to lose and gain weight like crazy. I think that's just how the world is, though. I don't think that has... I
mean, body types going in and out of style, which is insane.
Yeah, but I don't think a specific person does that themselves. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I post my body online, I'm not being like, oh, skinny's in. I don't think Kim Kardashian or Kendall Jenner or Kylie are doing that either. I think it's mainly how people perceive how people just view it. Like, right now Ozempic's really in because it became trendy, so now everyone's getting skinny off of Ozempic and they want to be skinny, and that's the trend again.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, it wasn't the trend to be skinny. It was the trend to be
slim thick,
have BBL, and have the fat in the right places.
Yeah, the big body positivity movement.
Yeah.
And, you know, that whole situation, and now it's almost like the script has been flipped.
Yeah.
Within the last, like, 2 years.
But that comes... Like, yeah, but that's just how the world is. It's always been like that. Even before social media, same thing was happening back in the 1900s also.
Yeah, I guess
you can look back at old ads and see that it was super, super skinny. And then Marilyn Monroe came into the picture, and everyone's like, oh, she's not super skinny. We want to look like her. And then she went out of the picture, and everyone's like, oh, well, actually, I don't want to look like Marilyn Monroe anymore because everyone wants the skinny girl again.
Yeah.
It's just how the world is these days. And I think it's important for parents to teach their children, like, hey, this is going to happen. You're going to see a lot of things online. And you just have to either take it with a grain of salt or not be online until you are mentally prepared for that.
Yeah, I think it just gets difficult whenever being online and being, you know, on social media is a huge part of, you know, creating relationships, especially now. You know, like, we are in, like, the technology age where, like, that is a huge part of our everyday lives, you know, like, from what we consume, Snapchat, Instagram, X, I guess it's called now, X. I mean, we have Alexas in our home. We have smart robots. Like, technology is just everywhere. Like, it's hard to avoid that without, you know, being ostracized, especially at a young age, like, where it is, you know, so prevalent. I mean, like, the term iPad kids, like, it's just kind of the new norm.
Right, but, you know, most of these apps have an age limit, and people lie about their age limits. I wasn't the age limit to get Instagram when I got Instagram.
Yeah, same.
Or Facebook. My Facebook birthday says, like, 1980.
Yeah.
That was more in the 80s. So I think it's, like, there are... Obviously, the internet is going to be around for forever now, and, like, you know, like this Alexis and stuff, but they're not telling you what's in and what's out and how to feel about yourself.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
Alexa's like, you look fat today.
Yeah, it's like there's a reason why children shouldn't be on those, like, the Snapchat and the Instagram and X and whatever. Same reason why you're not supposed to be on dating apps until you're 18.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it's a good way to make friends, but they're in school. And you get to a certain point where you start realizing that, like, everyone's gonna have their insecurities, just always. I have mine, you have yours, we all have insecurities. I'm sure even the most beautiful people on the internet have insecurities. but you get to a certain age where you can distinguish your insecurities and jealousy. And, you know, seeing someone, like, I can see someone on a trip and be like, oh, I wish I was her.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, I want to be her because she's on a trip, not because of how she looks.
Yeah.
I think once you reach that certain age, then you can be allowed on naps based on how your parents feel.
Yeah.
Because then it does cause your child to grow up thinking that they have to be skinny and they have to do this and they have to do this.
Fit
and
all the beauty standards.
Which
and,
is,
you know.
it's unrealistic for anybody to fit a single beauty standard.
Yeah.
Kendall Jenner didn't fit the BBL beauty standard.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Exactly. Like, and she is a Jenner. Like, she is a trendsetter. Like,
Yeah.
she didn't fit that standard, but she's also confident in how. I feel like confidence comes into play when it comes to not even how you look, but how you perceive yourself. If you're posting online and it's showing off that you
Are like confident.
are you confident and you don't really care what people have to say about you and whatever.
Right.
And let's be honest, from the day-to-day life, like, me and you, we don't get cyberbullied. There's a lot of people who, on my Instagrams, on my Snapchats, it's mainly my friends and the randoms here and there, but, you know, I don't experience hate or anything, so no one's commenting on my post being like, oh, you look freaking ugly. I got my friends commenting like, oh my god, what a queen,
Yeah, you look
she's so pretty,
beautiful,
like,
lifting each other up.
exactly. So,
I mean, not to say that doesn't happen. It definitely does happen.
well, of course, well, obviously,
Yeah.
but once you get in a main role like Kendall Jenner and Kim Kardashian, I think it is unfair because either way, what they do, they're gonna get hated on.
Yeah.
Either way, if they're skinny, if they're, you know,
Rich, powerful.
exactly, they're gonna
XYZ.
get hated on because people want what they have, and I think you just have to take it with everything with a grain of salt and realize that, like, just because you're not a Kardashian or you're not a Jenner doesn't mean that you're not worthy of having an Instagram and being confident and showing off your body and loving who you are and showing off how you look and embracing your insecurities. Like, middle school, I was so insecure about everything. I was, you know, my skin was going nuts. I was insecure. Now I don't even wear makeup
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, you get to a point, this is what I've realized the past, like, couple years when I started dating, you get to a point where it's like, as obviously growing up as a teenager, as a tween, you're boy crazy, you want all the male attention, and you think that they're gonna go for the girl with the nice body and clear skin and the skinny girl and, like, small nose and big lips, you know, like, they're gonna go for that but when you get to the dating scene, you're gonna find out that that's not what every guy wants.
Yeah.
And it's not even just based on what a guy wants, you're gonna find out that's not what you want yourself to look like also.
Yeah, you want to be yourself. because
Exactly.
It makes you more you and authentic in yourself.
Yeah,
And
like
if you look like everyone else, then
And then who are you?
yeah, you lose your identity.
And you get to a point where you realize that, like, personality is such a major part in any role of anything. I can see a guy be like, oh, he's not attractive, and then meet him, talk to him, get to know him more, know his personality, and now he's the cutest guy to me on earth.
Right,
you know?
I've definitely experienced that myself too.
Ryan,
Yeah.
my first boyfriend ever,
Yeah.
met him and didn't think he was cute at all, and then dated him for 11 months.
Yeah.
And thought he was the cutest person on earth.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about how you see, like, your self-perception of everything. It's like you have to be confident in yourself, and to do so you have to, like, understand that, like, these things are fake.
Yeah.
And, like, these standards, yes, they're standards, yes, they're in now, but they're going to be out later. Like, same thing happened with just, like, clothing,
Yeah.
styles, like, low-rise jeans were out, and
Oh,
now all of a
man.
sudden they're in. Skinny jeans were the main thing, and now people don't even take skinny jeans at, like, Plato's Closet anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they don't, it's out.
I think it's just crazy, like, how fast, you know, things are cycling through, like, fashion trends, like, even not just your body and, like, makeup and hair trends. I mean, like, a few months ago it was super trendy to have, like, hair down to your butt, and now it's, like,
now
everyone's
wants short hair.
everyone's chopping their hair.
Which we are a part of. It's like, you have to,
we're victims of it, too.
you know, I dyed my hair blonde when blonde was in, and now everyone's like, oh, go brunette, you're gonna love it. I went back to brunette, and, you know, and I've told you this before, I said that I felt prettier as a blonde, but I feel more myself as a brunette.
Right.
And it's like, you have to just, when you get to the age of being involved in social media, like, heavily, like, how you get, like, maybe after high school and college and
Right.
stuff. I wasn't really super heavy in my social medias, like, during high school, maybe, like, the random post here and there, but for the most part, you know, that's how I keep up with my friends now, is through social media.
Yeah.
So once you're into it, then you have, like, you already passed that age of, like, your awkward stages where you're just yourself now.
Yeah.
Like, unapologetically yourself.
I think I definitely went through, you know, the posting a lot on social media, especially whenever I was in high school. Like, I was very into that. Like, I had my Instagram account, and I also had a spam Instagram account, which was a big thing, and I, like, prided myself on that. Like, people referred to me as my spam account username, and it was, like, a huge ego boost for me. Like, it was, like, validating. You know, it gave me, like, a good perception of myself. I was like, people like me, people think I'm interesting, this gives me value, which, you know, whenever that started to taper off as I got older, and, you know, I graduated high school, you know, I moved across the country to Seattle, and all these people stopped, obviously, keeping tabs, you know, they move on and whatnot, and it definitely, you know, kind of affected my ego about myself, and created, like, a, you know, I already have struggled with depression and anxiety growing up, and I think it kind of elevated it, kind of thinking, like, well, how do I find a new value in myself whenever, you know, I got a boyfriend, and I lost, like, 400 Instagram followers, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, people don't like me anymore. Like, I mean, obviously it didn't cause me to, like, break up with my boyfriend or anything, but it definitely affected, you know, my mental health. And, you know, I compared myself to my other friends who, you know, like, for example, Hannah, who has, you know, 5,000 Instagram followers, and, you know, whenever she got a boyfriend, she didn't lose any followers, but, you know, that comparison just based off of social media, you know, we're different people, and that shouldn't, you know, be how we value ourselves or what makes us better or worse from each other, because, you know, she ended up being one of my best friends in high school, and we're still very close to this day, and not once was she ever like, well, you don't have enough Instagram followers or social media presence, and you're not popular enough to be my friend. That was never the case, but somehow I felt like I had value in that, and as I've gotten older, it's definitely gotten so much better. And I've put that energy back into, like, my actual relationships, and realizing, like, I don't care what, you know, people think of me as much. I don't care about my social media presence as much. I post because I want to share it with the people that I care about and who I love, and my friends and family who follow me, as a way to communicate with everyone else, you know?
Right, yeah. Well, going off of that, Lauren and I, you know, she has 6,000 followers, always gets comments, thousands of likes, constantly, and you know, she was my girl for a hot minute, you know, like, we were inseparable, going out, posting me all the time, like, I'm on her Instagram account, like, and obviously then it felt nice, but knowing that there is a genuine connection outside of the whole social media part, it's like, okay, you know, I don't see you for your followers, you know, like, I see you, we have this friendship, we built it outside of social media, we're friends on social media, obviously, you know, we post each other because we're genuine friends outside of it, but for the most part, it's all about how it is, like, it's all about how it's perceived on the internet, and, you know, I'm not even friends with her anymore, and no one would know if they go through my Instagram or her Instagram, because we follow each other, we like each other's posts, we have each other's pictures posted still, like, no one would know, unless, like, I said, oh, we're not friends anymore.
Announcement, everyone.
Yeah, it's like, people would be like, what? Like, since when?
They seem like best friends, they seem like they've been close still to this day.
Yeah, like,
it's such a crazy thing. Like, no one really knows what's going on behind closed doors, especially on social media.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's just how life goes, though.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm content with my little 800 followers and my 100-something likes.
Yeah, I mean, I turned off the like counts on my posts.
Yeah, because I
don't think it's important.
I don't know. No one, because I'm not posting. You have to get to, like, a point in your Instagram where you realize that it's like you don't need to pose for a picture and have a picture and, like, make it look all posy and edited. You can post pictures just because you want to.
Right.
You can post pictures because you had a fun night and you want that memory on your feed. You know, you can post a picture to keep what social media was about originally, which was to update your friends. Like, you don't need to have
to impress strangers.
Yeah, like, it shouldn't be Facebook's for this and then Instagram's like only, like, the good ones. It's like, no, like, it can be both. It could be, like, your good pictures and pictures that you want to post just because you're having fun and you like who you're with and you want your followers to see it and you want it to be online.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
a museum of your life, but, you know,
it's like your own
digitalized.
Your own little, what's it called? Portfolio.
Yeah, it's like an art portfolio. Your life is art.
Yeah.
Life is beautiful, and I think it, you know, you need to remember that, especially with, you know, how intertwined we are with the internet. It's in, you know, in this day and age, and it's only going to progress as time goes on.
Yeah, and also a lot of, like, you know, the cyberbullying part of it, it's like, okay, well, there is options to be private. There is options to have your,
Yeah.
you know, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Snapchat, only let your friends have it. Like, those are real options. And I have it, you know, especially since, like, people are getting really creative with, like, hacking, too. It's like, you don't want that stuff getting out. Like,
oh my gosh, do you remember that Ask FM when we were younger? And it was literally, like, an anonymous...
question site,
and you could create, like, people would create profiles of other people, and it was, like, a huge thing of, like, cyberbullying kids because you could do it anonymously.
Yeah.
And it's not around anymore, I don't think, but
no, it fell off.
It definitely died out, but it was a huge, you know, way for cyberbullying, especially, like, at such a young age. Like, I remember there being, like, some hateful comments and stuff. Like,
yeah, like, you can, like, ask me questions and it's like, you're ugly, you're fat. It's like, okay, thank you, but moving on, you can't do anything about it. You don't know who the person was.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are those options to be privated.
Yeah.
So you could keep your Instagram and all your social medias really to yourself.
I think there's
and to
ways
your friends.
to deter it, but I think that if someone really wants to find a way to cyberbully you, you know...
I think that would have to come online from... I think cyberbullying's kind of... It hasn't died out, but it definitely has become less popular. Other than, like, hate comments and, like, TikTok, you know,
like
you
getting
see, like,
canceled.
Yeah, you see, like, TikTok becoming, like, a really toxic app, but for the most part, like, if someone doesn't follow you on Instagram and you're private, no one's gonna be able to see it. Even if someone's, like, like, I'm sure people screenshot posts and send it to each other and they talk crap about it in those eyes, but, like, it's not like how, like, it was, like, with MySpace back in the day, where it's, like...
where it was, like, posting on someone's open forum,
or, like, a what's it called, like a blog almost, where it's like a whole website and you just post randomly. It's like it's very limited now. You can definitely
and like people who people on like TV shows and stuff who end up getting like hate from their like character that they end up perceiving, like reality TV shows, you know, they end up getting a lot of hate even though it's just a character, but it's, you know, seen as reality TV.
Yeah.
And people, you know, end up coming out, you know, whenever the season comes out or the episode comes out with like massive loads of hate. And, you know, a lot of the time, you know, those people will, you know, private their Instagram accounts or turn off their comments or, you know, shut off their DMs, which is a difficult thing because it takes a certain level of hate to get to that point. But there are ways to, you know, put a roadblock to it, you know, give yourself that mental health break, you know, seek out, you know, maybe some therapy and like your support system to kind of remind you that it's just social media.
Yeah, and I think a lot of young influencers these days kind of know that, like, this is just bound to happen. Yeah. You can't post anything online and have everybody be 100% positive about it when you are famous online.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have like deterring or
you could say you could say your opinion, you know, your own opinions. People are gonna disagree with it. It's just the way life goes. That's
the whole thing of opinions.
Yeah,
it's not factual. It's opinion based. Like it's not.
Yeah, and not everyone's gonna like it, and people are gonna hate on it. But the only people I kind of see getting hated on the most are like actual influencers, actual people who are famous. You know,
people really in the spotlight.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely less
the day-to-day girl guy that I scroll across on TikTok or my own personal friends. I don't really see.
Yeah.
Anybody getting
like cyberbullied.
Online
or anything like
about
that.
it.
Hate. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the end of this podcast.
All right, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Until next time, for sure. All right.
Bestie Banter out.